Imagine a world without Google. Google plays an essential role in pretty much anything and everything you do. It probably knows more about you than you know about yourself. Over the past 2 decades, Google has built an internet empire where it controls every aspect of our life. If you try to buy a new phone, you will probably look for prices on Google and watch videos on YouTube. While you are surfing the web, you may get Google ads about Google phones and Google phone plans. On top of all these, you may be accessing the internet using Google Fiber and may have Google-made Wi-Fi system. Google has also bridged cultures and people all over the world who share a platform that connects mankind emotionally, intellectually, socially, and spiritually. Well, starting off their main service, Google.com, as you already know, Google wasn't the first or the best search engine when it came out. The first search engine was Archie Query Form, and as you probably knew at the time that Google came out, Yahoo was the dominant search engine. Without Google, you will probably be checking your mail on Outlook. The rise of Gmail was one of the key reasons that Microsoft transformed outdated Hotmail into the modernized interface called Outlook. And what about the maximum file upload limit in email storage? Gmail rose to prominence with their unbelievably large email storage space of 1 gigabyte. So without Gmail, Yahoo Mail and Hotmail would be still dominant and we will have to delete email on a regular basis. But you could have fun using your Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer or Firefox. And what about YouTube? YouTube was giving information before Google bought them. But Google has a key and sole reason that YouTube blew up. YouTube would have never been able to grow even a fraction of how big they are today without the help of Google. In our alternate timeline, we could very well be looking at Microsoft on Dailymotion or Sony Vimeo instead of YouTube. And what about your phone? What will happen to Android without Google? Android was actually a dependent company before Google bought them for $50 million in 2005. Google was the main influence of making Android open source of free Linux. Without Google support, such a venture wouldn't have taken place. There may have been another dominant open source operating system. Maybe BlackBerry would have played the role of Android and would have become a main competitor against Apple. Maybe BlackBerry would be licensing out their own operating system. And how about Google's new phone plan? Clearly a smartphone would be a lot different without Google. Every app you download would be different because there would be no Google Play Store. And you will probably have to buy GPS on your car as well, as you are used to this. Or we have to use printed pages after pages of maps searching for a new restaurant or before going on a road trip. And what about Google Drive and all its apps like Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets? You may prefer Microsoft Office, and I think we all know that Microsoft Office is the superior operation. But you do have to keep in mind that these Google apps are free. Not only that, you can access any Google app from any corner of the world. Microsoft licenses the use of such apps and releases their own cloud driver called OneDrive and launched their own online versions of their popular desktop programs like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, but these may have never come to light if it wasn't for Google. And of course, there is the Chromebook. For average users, Chromebooks aren't really that useful. But for students, they are the perfect solution. And what about Google Classroom and Google Translator? Any student who takes a foreign language class knows Google Translator is your best friend. And speaking of best friends, Google Assistant can be very useful as people use it on a regular basis. While Google Assistant was slaying the field after Alexa, Cortana, and Siri, today it has grown to be arguably the most dynamic assistant. If all the Google products disappear, I strongly believe that we will all feel disabled. Google has grown to become the backbone of our online activity. Whether you want to admit it or not, we have all grown to become so dependent on Google. But Google is just a company that provides services through the internet. Well, what if the internet suddenly disappears tomorrow? Well, we have a video about that too in our channel. Be sure to check it out.